Good morning, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well, we won't keep you very long. We just have a few things to say, and then this playground needs to be tested. So I think you guys might be capable of doing that, right? Well, we will begin, just like we do with school, with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think I'll have a couple of volunteers come up and do that. Let me see. Thank you for raising your hands quietly. Let's see. How about right here? 1 and 2. Come on up, right over here, you guys. How did I do? Okay, right here. Turn and face. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. That was great. And I was a third grade teacher for a long time in Temecula, and I was also a recreator. That means I was involved with parks and recreation. But the thing that made me think of mentioning that to you is being a third grade teacher, I get used to third graders, and you guys are big right now. I can tell it's near the end of the school year because you're so much bigger than you were 6 months ago. And you really look, if I had to guess, like fourth graders. That's how close you are to getting there. So my name is Dale Borgeson. As I just mentioned, I was a teacher here in Temecula as a career in 3rd and 5th grade. I taught at a few different schools. I never taught over here in Red Hawk. Red Hawk School didn't even exist when I first came here to Temecula. This park obviously wasn't here. So we have a lot of changes to our community in the last 20 to 30 years, at least in my experience being here. And I would like to first then, of course, recognize you guys, our special guests from right next door at Red Hawk Elementary, our 3rd graders, and I'd like everybody to give them a big hand. And I know 3rd graders are busy people. You know, I mean, this means you're not doing something else, so thank you very much for taking the time to come over here and for sitting on concrete in a warm day and being patient with a bunch of adults talking. So it's a challenge, but you're doing it very well. Thanks again. And I'd also like to recognize the fact that we have some other people from our city here today. We have our city manager, Aaron Adams. He'll wave to us. There he is, that handsome guy back there. And our assistant city manager, right next to him, is Greg Butler. We have a few people representing City Council. We have our mayor, Matt Ron. Wow, the mayor. We also have Stu Stewart, a councilman. And next to him, Jeff Comachero, another city councilman. So you guys, this is our 4th park that we've improved. It's possible you've been to some others. One is not far from here. Have you been to Vale Ranch Park recently? Good. So you probably remember this big structure, right, where you can go way up high and it looks like Old Town. And there's something there you might have done. I don't know if you did or not. Did you do this rail thing? Okay. That is fun, huh? It is a great time. So that's our newest park that we've redone. This is the 4th of parks that have been redone. Another one was Nicholas Road Park, and that's where the pirate ship is. And it's a big pirate ship. I thought it was going to be a puny little thing, and then when I went there, it was like, wow, that's like a full-size pirate ship. So if you have a chance, ask your parents to take you to the other side of Temecula and visit that park. And the 4th one is a treehouse theme park. That's actually not far from here either, the Butterfield Stage Park. Maybe 5 minutes from your house. And that one is a treehouse theme. It's beautiful. And so I would think, if I was a third grader and I had a birthday coming up, one thing maybe I would ask my mom to do, why don't we go to a few different parks, with a load of my friends, and that could be a birthday party thing. Don't you think that would be pretty cool? Yeah. Especially if your friends have not been to places like that Vail Ranch Park and ridden the rail. So you guys, today we celebrate the idea of play and music brought together. And these are two incredibly important things for young people. And adults recognize this about you. Even if they don't do that much more of play and maybe music as much as they would like, they still recognize it as important. And let me just quickly mention something I found about the benefits of play. Play allows children to use their creativity while developing their imagination, dexterity, and physical, cognitive, and emotional strength. Play is important to healthy brain development. It is through play that children at a very special age engage and interact in the world around them. You guys, you have distractions in your life. You go home and there's maybe some homework to do and there's some jobs to be done around the house. And then maybe a little too often you're watching the screen, whether it be an iPad or TV. I just want to encourage you guys, with a beautiful place like this and places like the other parks I mentioned, get outside. That's where your brain is really going to develop at its best. This is where you're going to build the best brain possible. And your brain is still developing. People like me, we're stuck with what we've got. My brain's not processing, it's processing, but it's not developing. It's not growing new combinations, pathways that are going to serve me any better. But your brain's still doing that. And that was one of the things I always loved telling my third graders. You can't afford to waste any time. Your brain is building pathways right now. So make sure those pathways are strong. Also, music. Music is a natural and important part of young children's growth and development. Early interaction with music positively affects the quality of children's lives. Successful experiences in music all help children bond emotionally and intellectually with others through creative expression in song, rhythmic movement, and listening experiences. So, adults in Temecula, people like your parents who said, you know what? I support the improvement of our town, like building and improving our park system. And they did this when they voted for Measure S. And then the people of the city took that decision and made choices like this, like choosing to put music and play together, and all for your benefit. This is for you. And the adults around you made that decision. So even though they might seem a little distant sometime and they're not clued into your needs as much as you would like them, they are thinking of you and trying to do their best. Every time, you guys, we have one of these park openings, I like to choose a Shel Silverstein poem. Have you ever heard of Shel Silverstein? Raise your hand if you've heard of that author, a poet. So if your hand's not up, it might go up in just a second. Do you know The Giving Tree?
Yes.
Or Where the Sidewalk Ends?
Yes.
Or The Light in the Attic?
No.
Right. Well, that's Shel Silverstein. He was the author and the illustrator. And you know what illustrator is, right? What is that? Tell me out loud. Go ahead. Right. And then, of course, the author is the person who... Right. So here is one of Mr. Silverstein's poems. It's called If We Were a Rock and Roll Band. And this is what you guys could become here in just a few minutes. If we were a rock and roll band, we'd travel all over the land. We'd play and we'd sing and we'd wear spangly things if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band and we were up there on the stand, the people would hear us and love us and cheer us. Hooray for that rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, then we'd have 1 million fans. We'd giggle and laugh and sign autographs if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, the people would all kiss our hands. We'd all be millionaires and have extra long hair if we were a rock and roll band. But here's a word Shel Silverstein uses. But we ain't no rock and roll band, We're just 7 kids in the sand with homemade guitars and pails and jars and drums of potato chip cans. Just 7 kids in the sand, talking and waving our hands and dreaming and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be grand if we were a rock and roll band? And so when you guys play here, you have a chance to become a rock and roll band, at least to start to practice and become one, right? And now you guys, I'm going to have you join in on something, because you've sat for quite a while. Let's see. Yeah, you've sat 10 minutes already. Well done. But the next thing we're going to do is something I need you to stand up. So everybody stand up. So, now this one is for you to participate in. And I'm wondering first, I think I'll just ask it so I can check my audience and find out your experience. Do any of you guys, boys and girls, do any of you play an instrument already? Would you tell me out loud now? You don't have to wait for me to call on you. What instrument is that?
Piano.
Okay, I heard piano. Now, if we don't have a piano here, right here, we might have something like that when we get over there. What would it look like if you played the piano? Show me. Okay. I heard guitar, and show me what that might look like. So, I think I'm backwards because I'm left-handed. It's probably why I never played the guitar. Let's see. I heard drums. Okay. Now, you had a little getting the sillies out, and you are now going to be responsible to play a few instruments while I read one more short poem. The first is a big bass drum. Now, that's the kind of drum, when you see a marching band and you see a guy with a big drum in front of him, and he plays it like this, right? And as far as I know, I see them, they're like leaning back, right? So would you lean back like you have that big drum mounted on your chest and boom, boom, hit it. All right. Now the next one is a little quieter. This one's a violin. So we have to hold it up here, rest it on our chin. Use your bow appropriately. Okay. The next is called a double bass. This is the one that looks kind of like a violin, but it's a big, tall thing. So there's a bow and your fingers, or you can pluck it, either way. And the fourth one is a trumpet. I don't think you need any help with that. Okay, and the last one is cymbals. Grab them in each hand. Boom. All right, now here we go. Get yourself settled. You will know when I say the instrument, that's your time to play it. When you hear me say each of those instruments, and I'll just real quickly again, it was the bass drum, it was the violin, it was the double bass, the trumpet, and the cymbals. All right, here we go. Ready? Check the members of the band around you, make sure they're all set to go, because you're only as good as the people who you play with, right? All right, here we go. I'm a big bass drum, booming down the street, tapping with my fingers to the booming bass beat. I'm a fiddle or violin playing music, shooting notes up high, watching as they fall from a music-making sky. I'm an old double bass, grumbling in my boots, shaking every treetop down to its roots. I'm a small brass horn, singing to the stars, swimming in their moonshine and diving down to Mars. I'm a cymbal sitting still, not yet. I'm a cymbal sitting still, making not a sound, waiting for the moment when I crashed to the ground. Have a seat. And I'm wondering if any of our special guests would like to talk to our third graders and our other guests today, or are you guys good? Okay, great.
Okay, since this is a musical park, I want to challenge you guys not to just bang or make a lot of noise, but try to make music. Try to think of songs when you're hitting the notes. Kind of put those notes together and create something. That's where you'll actually enjoy it, and you'll do it more than one time. So when you get there, just don't bang it. Just start to make something of it. So that's my challenge to you guys. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Stewart and Mr. Roth. I'm there.
Good morning. All right. Are you guys hot? Yeah! I am too. We're going to get you out there and get you playing. You're the first kids that get to play at this park. How cool is that, right? All right. You guys have fun. Be safe. Our theme for this year is Temecula Safe. This is a safe park. How many of you live nearby? How many of you will be able to walk to this park and play? All right. We expect to see you. I live just down the way. I expect to see you out here. Hope you guys have a lot of fun. Play music, like Mr. Stewart said. And look forward to seeing you guys in the 4th grade next year, too.
And I see we have an additional, I gotcha. We have another council member here today, Mrs. Marianne Edwards. And it would certainly be remiss to not give her an opportunity if we're talking about music, to have a chance to come up and address you guys.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. B. You did my whole show this morning. So you guys have all been instruments already today, right? And I don't want you to sit here for very much longer, but you know, this is a great park. It has all these instruments that you get to play, but you know, you walk around with an instrument every day. Every day you have an instrument with you. Do you know what it is? Your voice! Okay, so you know, music is made up of notes, right? Music is made up of notes, and notes have a name. And there was a song written to help us remember the names of all those notes. So you've probably heard this song, and maybe you can sing along with me if you know this song. Ready? Do, a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, far a long, long way to run. So a needle pulling thread, la, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to do, 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 do. One more time. Do, a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, far a long, long way to run. So a needle pulling thread, la, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, so, do.
Thank you guys for participating. Okay, so the last step in our opening of our rededication of Sunset Park is to have you guys listen to your teachers in just a moment. You'll be able to get up. Your teachers are going to give you directions where we're going to follow this path around, where we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony. Pretty exciting. My guess is you have not probably participated in that many ribbon cutting ceremonies up to this point. So, 0, right. I don't think I did any until just recently. So, thank you guys again for being an exceptionally patient audience on a warm day. And I commend the staff at Red Hawk, your principal, assistant principal, your teachers for having done such a marvelous job with their 3rd grade. So look for directions from your teacher, and we will meet you over, you'll attend the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
All right. Ready? Count to 3 for me.